What's going on, Warpath family? Well, you've clicked it again. It's another Triple G video. Yes, we must all suffer through this. But today, we're going to go over a little bit about base tactics. And I have a little sheet that I got going on you guys might enjoy or you might laugh at. It's all good. But I have a lot of guys asking me and questioning about some of the stuff that they see in the game, but trying to understand why it is that it happens. But first, let's appreciate all of these goodies. Ooh, look at this. Yummy. Man, oh man, I have not farmed one time for military funds inside of Moscow. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. 270, and I have been growing like a son of a gun. Anyway, wanted to do a special shout out to Zeno of 7NA. He was gracious enough to give me my avatar right here, Seven Nations Army Triple G. He is a graphics design. He likes doing logos and such. Very good pricing and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in getting a logo, getting a special avatar, he can hook you up. Go ahead, shoot me a message, hit me up on Discord. We'll go ahead and get you guys connected. Let's get into the video, guys. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Well, as you can see here, we have our nifty little handy dandy sheet. Yeah, don't laugh too much. But I have some categories here. I have a super heavy. This is most likely what is usually tanking. A medium tank. It could be a tank hunter, a light, a medium, something fast, something that shoots quick, something that you try to kill the artillery with, struggle with. And then you have the wonderful artillery down here, the one that gives us so much trouble so often. And a lot of people after update 2.0, and some of you guys that are new, wonder sometimes, how do I attack another base with my base close? We call that base to base, or maybe in the field, so a little bit outside of it. And how do you defend yourself? It would be the exact opposite, but these little cat and mouse games that go on, they have quite a few different variances, so stick around with me for a little while. Right here we have officer pairings to artillery. These are some officer pairings that most people usually do, and they switch them out depending on who they have maxed or whatever, but best is going to be for your strongest artillery, Eruptor, and Antonina. They do the best. Okay? Now, the traditional way of attacking a base is to take your super heavy, we're going to call it this, in red. You take your super heavy out, you get within range, then you take your artillery out, and you keep it usually kind of close to the base. That way you can go back in quickly in case you have to defend or somebody pops out to try to kill them. But anyway, the artillery has enough range, so you come out here, right? Then you will start shooting on the base. Then the base firepower, just the base, not the artillery, just the base firepower. And because you're close enough, if there's some tanks and stuff, they'll shoot at you. So the base firepower will shoot off, as well as any tanks within 2 grids will begin shooting off on you. Then the countdown, 4 seconds after that, right, the artillery is going to hit. And then 4 seconds after that, the officer skills are really going to bomb down on your unit. And that's where most people die the most at, is because of the officer skills. Those officer skills can do a whole bunch of damage when they're really high up. So you have to be careful. Okay? Now, the super heavy has the most durability, usually between 8 and 15 million, but some people get it, past 20 million on the durability. What does that mean? That means that the average of 5 to 7 million damage from a unit when it hits from the artillery itself, the super heavy can last through those. It can last 4 hits, 3-4 hits, or maybe even 5 hits, depending on how strong the base is and the units that are inside of it. However, once the officer skill fires off, that's when it becomes super, super difficult to withstand it. because look at this. Sometimes up to 16 to 18 million. It's been my, experience that it's usually between like 6 and 8 for most people. But nevertheless, it adds up after a while, and it can really do a lot of damage, especially if a person has maxed out officers. So, with that in mind, whenever this super heavy goes and attacks the unit, 1,000, 1,000, then you pull and drag your artillery to hit the unit. That means that the artillery will have 4 seconds before it fires off on the unit. Okay, that means that the 2 seconds, 1 or 2 seconds that this needed to aggro is going to take 1 hit, 2 hits, then you're going to be able to fire off, and then most people pull back into their base and they reset it all over again. So your super heavy had some damage to it, maybe lost 1 or 2, and then you got an artillery hit. Now that artillery hit is just this. It is not the officer skill, because remember, you need 4 more seconds before you can get that officer skill. So what a lot of people do in the field now is they skill charge. So what does that mean, Grant? That means that they will pull out their unit in the front somewhere here. They will have an artillery over here, or off to the side back here, depending on how close you were. I would probably keep the base somewhat far away. Otherwise, if you get too close, like in this perimeter right here, then that means this person can stay back here away from you and pop your base if you're not careful. But that's another subject altogether. Let's go ahead and let's talk about, you take your artillery, and if you have a maxed Antonina right here, if she's maxed, you can pick any Raven or anything like that, and the Raven will not come back on you, or the bunker will not fire off on you. It will skill charge. Once the level goes up enough, then people take their unit, they attack the base, they drag this up, and then they attack the base afterwards. That means that the skill right here hits instantaneous. Then, a second behind it, this hits. So we have both of these hitting the base, and they drag it back in. That is the benefit of skill charging. Okay, guys? That is the concept behind that. If you don't have a maxed out Antonina, it's a little bit different, because you must take out a super heavy or something, hit the bunker, pull it back, the troops will come out like this, and then you can take your artillery, charge it on this, and then you have to drag up your super heavy to hit, and then drag up this and hit it as well, and then come back. That is how you would have to do it then. However, if a person's online, it's a lot different, because then it becomes a little bit of a struggle. The person can pop out of their base. They can try to get your artillery, which is why I said you want to stay back a little bit. Why? Because you want this person to try to drag their units out in front of here so that it's at face value. You don't want them being able to be way back here. If they do that, then you have to try to come all the way around, and that's a time duration. The time duration it takes to come around means that they have the potential of getting in one of these shots on you. That's no good, guys. That is no good. So what we've noticed here lately is a little bit of a bug that's been kind of interesting. And what I mean by that is that whenever you attack, or the opponent attacks your base right here, all the units go inside, right? That puts the base in a defense mode. Now, once that base is in defense mode, even if you took out your artillery or your super heavy and you placed it out here, if the opponent drives out and he attacks your unit, not only will the artillery instantly fire off on it, but the base will instantly fire off on it. That's if these units are already been attacked. It instantly fires off on them. Okay? Now, here's the thing though. Here lately, that's normal. Here lately, when I have a unit outside of here and he pulls his unit outside of here, when the base is not even red and his base isn't even red, when he goes to attack this unit, the base and everything is firing off on it. That's normally not what happens, but that's what's been happening here lately. So people have been baiting a lot, people to come outside of their base like this and wanting people to attack their units so that all of the power of their base right here will attack. And that's something you can utilize, which is a baiting system. Anyway, guys, this is just a short little video on what you can do to try to maneuver the field and attack. If you guys have particular questions about this, I can also jump on the Discord or whatever and hopefully answer some of your questions. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, peace.